Wednesday morning here on KSJE, and it's time to take our weekly trip to the Encouragement Lab. There he is right there, Dr. Mike Hattabaugh, standing by in the lab this week. Good morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Thank you for joining us this morning. And gosh, we got Valentine's Day coming up, so what should we talk about today?
I know it snuck up on me, so I
Did
thought
it?
I'd get a Valentine's Day thing that I've learned the past 20 years. That's what we've been going through, right? The millennium has kind of inspired me to think about what have I learned so far since, 1999, as Prince used to sing.
Right. Wow. You are dating yourself with that song reference, but yes, and that the world didn't end at 2000, so here we are, Y2K plus 21 years.
Yeah, and so I thought I would dip into my relationship expertise, which is what I actually feel probably the most competent in, as a 33-year marriage, survivor.
Right. Congratulations.
My wife's kept me this long.
Right. Extra
Is what
congratulations
have I
to
learned
your
about
wife.
relationships?
I was going to say extra congratulations to your wife, but yes, please
Exactly.
continue. Yes.
So I heard Randy Pausch, if you remember the last lecture,
Right.
the book,
Yes.
he has a video that I used to show in my public speaking class that I really like, and he says something in there that I have found to be really solid relationship advice, and it's that find someone whose happiness is more important than your own.
Aha. That is good
And
advice,
I just
isn't it?
think that is as solid gets.
And if you have two people that do that, you're golden, it would seem.
Bingo. And that's, I tell people all the time is that the best relationships I know is where both people feel like they got the better deal.
Right. Right. That's important.
But again, and I do a lot of relationship coaching. That's what I do a lot of. And I just keep finding that one of the biggest issues people have is they just decide I'm not happy with you and that you determine my happiness. Instead of, if you decide that this other person's happiness is more important than your own and you're willing to make sacrifices in some areas, man, that's a home run every time. And like I said, if you get that same person in return, if you're both engaged that way, as a matter of fact, I tell people before they get married, it's like you should almost make this promise to each other, is that I promise the rest of my life that your happiness is more important than mine. Wow, you can get through 33 years.
Exactly. Interesting. And so, is there any way to determine if even if you're not married yet, but you're just dating this person, if they already feel that way without, I guess, asking them outright?
Well, and I, to be honest, I think you should. I think that should be part of your discussion is,
Have a conversation.
this is my commitment to you. If you go back and look at the traditional wedding vows, this is kind of built into that.
Right.
Sickness and in health, right? And all those other promises. So, we've had this before in our culture. I think we've lost sight of it because we became such an I-focused culture that it became about this sense of what do I want? What do I need? And what's funny is most of those people aren't happy. If you focus on yourself, you end up not happy in life.
That's true. That's true. And
Now,
so, go ahead.
well, so what you got to do is say, is this person's values that I'm with, are their values so trustworthy, so something I believe in? Is their character solid enough that I can say, yeah, I just want to make them happy the rest of my life?
Very good advice. And the proof is in the performance, I suppose, too, right, with these long marriages and relationships.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't look back and go, I decided this ahead of time, but I just, we've talked about that on the show before, that the long-term studies show that one of the two most important factors of a long relationship are choosing well, which this applies to that, right? I'm choosing somebody that their happiness is more important than my own. And then the second thing that this also applies to is that work hard I'm going to work hard at that. I'm going to set aside my desires for your desires. I want you to succeed in life. Therefore, I'm going to set aside maybe my personal wishes. And it's why I hated the movie La La Land. The
Right.
Academy Award-winning movie a couple years ago.
Right.
Is ultimately that's about this decision, right? Is it plays out this what they decided, which was their career paths, were more important than their relationship.
Gotcha. And that doesn't help the relationship for sure.
No, and I just say that for the vast majority of us, we don't get to the end of our careers and go, wow, I'm glad I picked my career over my relationship.
Right. Very true. Good advice, Dr. Hattabaugh. And before we go, real quick, I know you always have great words of advice for Valentine's Day. And if I remember correctly, it's to maybe surprise your partner with maybe flowers on February 13th, not the 14th.
Right?
Isn't that what you go by?
Well, so the core of this is that realize that flowers or candy is worthless on Valentine's Day, that it's worth 0 points. Now, you lose points if you don't give it, right?
Yes, on Valentine's Day.
So buy it early. Surprise them early. Say, I couldn't wait for Valentine's Day. Here's some flowers.
There you go.
You get the best flowers that way, right?
I would think so. That's true. That's true. And extra points probably. So I always like to share that little nugget of advice with our audiences. So thank you very much. Happy Valentine's Day to you and your wife. We'll talk to you again next week.
You bet. Take care, Scott.
Thank you. That's Dr. Mike Hattabaugh. He is with me every Wednesday from the Encouragement Lab right here on KSJE Farmington.